Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us again on this third day of Tech Week 21. My name is Heather White, and I am with our technology department, and I am joined here by Harley DeKaiser from Albany Middle and Brian Loop from North Corbin Junior High. And they are going to run our training or our session on advanced features with the Newline panels. So if you've got one or you have one coming your way and you're not quite sure how to use one, we are hopefully providing to you all the videos that you need to get started from the very basics up to guru status that these ladies are at, and you can get it going in your classroom this fall. So keep in mind, all of the sessions that we've done are recorded. You can rewatch them at any time. And I am going to go ahead and let them take it away. Go ahead, ladies.
All right, first we have a bit.ly link if you would like to pull that up in another tab on your computer. We're not going to focus on the presentation a whole lot. We're going to be doing a lot of demonstration on the panel itself, but there is the presentation link if you would like to have that in a second tab for reference in case you missed something. All right, so what we're doing is we're going to be working on the RS Plus series panel. So everything that we do in our demonstration session is going to be on the RS True Touch panel with an onboard operating computer. So the Newline panels have three beneficial built-in softwares. Newline Cast, let me move away, sorry. Newline Cast, Newline Broadcast, and then the Newline Display Management. So we're going to look at each of these to start off to see how we can use those in our classroom with the panel. So the Newline Cast is a way to wirelessly share content from any device. So if you would like to share your laptop screen to your panel without connecting it with a wire, you can do that using the Newline Cast. They do have presenter mode where any attendee or any person in your classroom can be the presenter. You would just have to screen share and then swap the host or the presenter for that presenter mode. You can also share files through that, send that to anybody in your classroom. As long as it is, they can be on the same network for them to do that when you are sharing your files as well. You can screen capture, screenshot whatever the kids can screenshot on their screens, or you can screen capture after you write on it if you're capturing and casting that to their computers. There's also a way to broadcast your screen to every student's device in your classroom, and that is called the Newline Broadcast. So you can take your teacher's screen and share that to each of your students' devices in your room. It is web-based, so they do not have to be on the same network. So if you have an absent student or if you have someone that's not in your classroom at that specific time, they can also type in the 6-digit code, and then they would be able to see your screen as you're broadcasting it to the rest of the students. So if someone's in the back, or if they prefer to sit in a certain location, but they don't have the best view of your panel, then you would be able to broadcast your screen to theirs, so that way they have the maximal visual that they can see. And it is very quick and simple for broadcasting, and I'm going to explain how we do that here in a second if our network will cooperate. But you don't have to schedule a broadcast. What you do is you would just click on your home button, and on the gadgets that we just learned about with the intermediate course, you can open your Newline Broadcast icon. And it's going to pull up this broadcasting link. And this is the same way for the cast and the broadcast. So for the cast, you would do the same thing. You would pull up the Newline Cast, and you could cast your screen by typing in a link as well. Let's see if it'll catch. Not sure. No, not working. Okay. So initially, it would give you a code to type in for your students, a web address for them to type in, and then an ID code for them to enter as well. And they could That way it would allow your screen to be broadcasted on all of their screens. Now on your end for the Newline Cast, for your end on the, for the Newline Cast, you would do the same thing. You could open up that application on your panel through the gadgets, and then you would type in the web address on your personal teacher computer to cast your screen onto the panel for your students to see. So that is just a way to cast that wirelessly. That way, if you don't have any, so you don't have anything hardwired to the panel itself. The third one that I'm gonna talk about is the Newline Display Management, and that is a way to centrally manage your panel. So if you are administration or maybe a department head or a lead teacher, then you can have access to this application. You can set alarms and reminders for your boards, your panels. You may also troubleshoot it remotely, where you can like remote control it, very similarly to Land School, if you've used that application in your classroom. So if a teacher or if someone's having an issue with their panel, you can go in and remotely troubleshoot those issues that they're having instead of having to send in a ticket and do the long way. You can also manage the software updates, and so you can go in and manually install those, or you can schedule them for a later date. You can organize and customize display settings across your whole campus. So if you want all of your panels to look the same, for example, I included our AMS logo as my panel background. Is that something that you would want all of your panels to look like whenever they log in and turn on? Then you could do that as well for each one of your panels, so you don't have to go individually into each of your teachers' classrooms to do that. And then you can also share files or push content across the network. So as long as your panels are connected on your same network, which they should be at your school, you can also push files out or different content materials to each of your panels for your teachers to have so they can access those for their classrooms. I think that's it. No.
Okay. So shifting gears just a little bit, in the previous session, the intermediate session, they spoke a great deal about using the file commander. And so I just wanted to show you one additional tip for using that. So here you have, I don't know if you can see the screen real well, it's kind of glaring, but there's this little button in your file commander that says PC file transfer. And the reason why I find this very useful is because there are many times when I just wanted to show a PowerPoint presentation, or if I wanted to show an image or something like that, and then you'd have to save it in your Google Drive or your OneDrive, and then you'd have to access it on the internal computer, and then you have to pull it up. This is a lot easier and a lot quicker, and you don't have to go through all of those steps. As long as this little button is toggled to on, it'll show you this, basically it's the IP address, and you can type that in on your personal computer, your teacher computer, and basically you attach your storage on your computer to the panel. And so if I wanted to upload, you know, a PDF or whatever straight from my teacher computer to the panel to show, maybe you can, now I'll even show you in a second, you can use it in your whiteboard, whatever. This is an easy way to do this without having to go through all of those steps. This is also an option for those of you that do not have the built-in computer, the onboard computer. I know some panels, like at my school, they don't have that. They have to hardwire a laptop in or whatever. Well, this doesn't need that. If you don't want to hardwire your laptop in and you don't have that onboard computer, you can use this feature without it. This is part of the board itself, not part of the onboard computer. And so, like I said, then it just puts it straight into your panel internal storage, and vice versa. If you're working on your whiteboard, and I'll show you this, if you're working on your whiteboard and you write on it and you want to save that, maybe a kid was absent and you want to send them that already filled out, you can send it from your panel to your teacher computer, and you can email it or upload it to Google, however you want to do it. Not right now, we don't want to update.
No.
So once again, we are here on our whiteboard. Let's say I do want to pull up a PDF that I have uploaded to the internal storage using that file transfer. What I would do is I would come to, oops, I'm sorry. You would have to go back up to it doesn't automatically bring you, it brings you to your recents and it's going to say there's nothing there. That's not true. If you click on your little 3 lines up there and you go to the file commander, internal storage, and go to your documents. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is a PDF that I had on my teacher computer. I transferred it to the internal storage on the panel using that IP address that I just showed you, and I was able to pull it up in my whiteboard. I can take my pen and I can write all over this. You have the pen over there? Oh, I have it. Internal storage. So then I'm not even reading the questions. I'm just, okay, that's A. This one is D. Number of zinc atoms, 5, etc. Okay, like I said, if I want to send that to my teacher computer so I have a copy of that, yeah, you can screenshot it and find that in your internal storage. But another thing you can do is you can export it. You can click this little button down here at the bottom. It looks like a QR code. If you click that button, you can export that as a PDF or a JPEG or however you want to save it. And you can click export. You have a QR code that you can either scan with your phone and you have it on your phone, but that's not really beneficial in my opinion. But you can share it down here at the bottom. And you can save it to anywhere. You can save it to your internal storage on your panel, or you can link your Google Drive and you can save it directly in there as well. Okay. So just a couple of different things you can do with that file transfer and also linking your cloud as well. Now in the previous,
show us, I hate to interrupt you, but can you show one more time how to get to that transfer area? It was kind of hard to see, and I just want to make sure we know what to do.
Yes, absolutely. So if you go to the home screen and you go to the file viewer, and this is, I know it's kind of hard to see. This button right here, it says PC file transfer. I'll go back so you can see it. I don't know if you can see that a little bit better now.
As long as I know that it says PC file transfer.
Yeah, PC file transfer, yes. And you click that button, and you have to make sure that that little thing is toggled on.
Okay.
And so what I did is you type that into your address bar on your teacher computer, like in Chrome or whatever, and I went ahead and made it a bookmark on my Chrome. And as long as this little button stays on, I can access that anytime I am on my teacher computer. So I can transfer files back and forth.
You can also do it from your cell phone as well. If you have a smartphone,
yes,
if you have a smartphone and you go to Safari and you type in that IP address, you can also upload any files that you may have on your cell phone, as long as it's a smartphone. You can upload any, pictures, files, those various things. But like Heather said earlier, these panels don't have a lot of internal storage themselves. Like the local storage. But remember, if you upload it, you can also just transfer it straight to your Google Drive or whatever connected cloud-based program that you have on here.
And so when you open a file, if you want to annotate on it, you don't necessarily have to open that in the whiteboard, do you? You just open the file and start writing?
You can.
On the PDF, yeah. If it's a PDF, for example.
Okay. If it wasn't so if it wasn't a PDF, was there a certain place I would need to open it?
Sorry, they're playing with the lights. We're trying to get the board a little bit clearer.
No, it's fine.
We're not having a party or anything. Let's see, if it was.
This brings us into the thing.
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that question. So depending on what type of file it is. So the panel has a built-in office suite system. It's called Mobi Systems, and it's not Google Docs, slides, sheets, whatever, and it's not Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel. It's its own little, I like to call it its own little off-brand baby. So if you do pull up a PowerPoint, you can transfer it into their onboard office system, and then there you will be able to annotate it and do those types of things.
I think I understand what you were asking a second ago, Heather. So if I come in and I just start writing on this right now, I would have to save each part of it as a screenshot. It wouldn't save those annotations.
Okay.
What I showed you before about opening it in a whiteboard and then exporting the file as a PDF afterward, that would save
on the whiteboard. Yeah, right.
Yeah, or save it as a PDF, not as a screenshot. It would save it as a PDF that you can then upload. So
okay, so can you show me where you pushed inside of the whiteboard to get your document there?
Yeah.
Y'all are blowing my mind. This is amazing.
So if you click down here on the three, can you see the three dots at the bottom? I know it's
our names are covering it up, but there's three dots.
Well, I know what you're talking about, though. So it's the three dots at the bottom. Okay.
Mm-hmm. You click that, and it gives you an option to upload an image. You can type in text instead of like writing on the board. You can add a sticky note, but then the next one is a document, a PDF. And that's how I do it. Like I bring up my documents like this. So this is an alternative to a document camera because, to be completely honest, it's hard to switch back between the document camera and your panel. It's hard to switch the displays because we have a wireless one, and it's like there's a certain app that you have to use, and it's glitchy. It doesn't work all the time. Right. I find it just easier to upload the PDF, write on it like this, and then save as a new PDF with my annotations.
With your annotations, yes, right. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. I will stop interrupting as y'all work. Go ahead.
No. If we need to be more clear, absolutely let us know.
No, you're perfectly fine. I want to make sure that I can, if somebody asks me, that I can tell them where to click. And I was like, wait, where did they click again? So.
Okay. And so you talked about
so back to just really quick, back to the office suite. So just very similarly to back button. There we go. So very similarly to your Microsoft and your Google Slides or Google Docs. They also have the preloaded templates in here if you need something to kind of go off of to give you a guideline. And it's not as in-depth as the Microsoft platform or the Google platform, but it is something. So this could also be beneficial to those teachers who have a panel but do not have the onboard computer. If you can hardwire it in even to get internet access, or if you have the ability to connect the panel itself to Wi-Fi, you can also do that even though you don't have the onboard computer.
And if that's you, if you don't have the onboard computer, or even if you do have the onboard computer, the thing that I very highly recommend is get a wireless keyboard and a wireless mouse. And that way you can use that to create these presentations a lot easier. And that way you're not trying to type on that little keyboard that pops up on the screen. Yeah. So that's
because it doesn't always pop up when you need it to.
One of the best $25 I've ever spent was on my wireless keyboard and wireless mouse that I hooked up to my panel.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Let's go back to Home for Smart.
Yes. This is what I'm really, really excited about. So what happened was when we agreed to do this, Harley came to me and she said, we can present on Octopus. It's an interactive software that I have on my panel. And she starts telling me about it. I had never heard of it. She started telling me about it. And I was like, so kind of like the smart notebook software. And so the original plan was to kind of compare the two and show you the two options.
Well, Octopus wouldn't work on my panel. So I'm thinking it's having to deal with something with the networking. There were some network update issues. It just was not working right. So I said, let's start over and let's redo. So we decided to do the smart notebook material.
And so I really want to show you a little bit about how I use this program. I started towards the end of the year really using the Smart Notebook. And the first thing I want to tell you is that you can, with your Office 365 account, get a 45-day free trial for the Smart Learning Suite. I'm going to talk about that in just a second, as well as the Smart Notebook application itself, the interactive software. 45-day free trial. After that, from what I'm understanding, is that it's $60 per teacher per year, and that's definitely something that I personally am interested in doing because of the things that I'm about to show you. This panel, we don't want it to be just a glorified projector. We don't want it to just be something that the teacher uses and the kids never get to manipulate. And so this Smart Notebook software really allows the teacher to engage the students and bring the students up to the board and have them doing something other than just like presenting a slideshow. So what I did is I just kind of brought out some of the benefits to using the Smart Notebook and the Smart Learning subscription. The Smart Learning Suite. And I'm going to show you all of these in just a minute, but basically with the Smart Notebook, you have the ability to fully manipulate in present mode. This was a huge deal for me. You have all these drag and drops and these great activities, and they might be in Google Slides or they might be in a PowerPoint, but to have the students manipulate them, you had to get out of present mode. Well, then it's very small on the screen and the kids couldn't really see it on the boards. So I was really looking for an alternative to that because I remembered from 10 years ago when I had the smart board, I remembered the kids being able to manipulate things on the screen. I'm going to show you how this works in just a second. If Harley was
our network has been great to deal with today, but we're gonna see what we can
But I guess
do.
this is mainly for like the young ones. Like Harley said, she has never worked with the Smart Notebook as a teacher. She's like, she remembers it from a student. Well, we've been here for
we
a long
have,
time.
especially in K5, it's a lot of elementary teachers who have spent a lot of time creating these notebook files for their smart boards, and they can't use them. So this is huge. This is a big thing, and it's definitely an affordable thing, to look into for schools.
And this is, I do have some things in here that are for elementary teachers, and I'm so excited to show it to you in just a second. All right, so then there are some games. I'm going to show you some games in just a second. And this one is very similar to like Nearpod or Pear Deck or whatever, but there are formative assessments embedded in the presentation. So that was similar to what they just talked about in the intermediate section, as well as the ability to poll and survey students. So what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to show you a couple of those. I have a Smart Notebook file pulled up. And so if you have a PowerPoint that you want to use in the Smart Notebook system, oh my gosh, of course, look at that, not responding.
Oh, there it is.
Okay. Okay. So if you have a PowerPoint that you want to use in the Smart Notebook, it is so easy to just import that. If you go up to your file button, you click that and you can click import and pulls it in, and then you can edit it to make it more interactive. So for those that do have all those like PowerPoints and stuff that are already done and already pretty and have all the fonts and everything, you can load them into Smart Notebook and you don't have to start over completely. But I just want to show you a couple of things. And I'm going to enlist some volunteers in just a moment to help demonstrate these.
AKA Principal of the Year finalist, Mr. John Hill.
He's giving us the glare right
Yeah,
now.
I just got a mean one.
Okay. So the first thing I want to show you, this is the one that I'm about to show you. You can, there we go. This one is one that I made. You can use their activity builder to make it pretty or whatever, but this was one that I literally put together in about 5 minutes just to show you how easy it is to do this. So if you want the kids, if you're practicing the steps of scientific method and you want them to put them in order, this is an easy drag and drop Of course. This board is really, really slow.
There it goes.
So the kids can come up here and they can click. They would put, okay, your question is first. Then they can click on the next one. And they can put hypothesis next. And then they can go to conduct an experiment, etc. You get the idea. The activity that I really needed this on, I was building DNA molecules. I had a really cool PowerPoint where the kids were doing it on their computers, but it was hard for them to manipulate with their little trackpads. And I pulled it up in the smart notebook system, and the little DNA molecules were big, and they were able to take them and turn them around and fit the puzzle pieces together, and it was really awesome. So this is just one option for using your smart notebook and having the kids joining in. All right, the next one is really, really cool.
Yeah.
I promise you it's not always this slow. Okay, we're just going to do this one really quickly. Or actually, no, Mr. Hill, can you come help me with this one, please? I told him I had to mess with him. Being from North Corbin, I had to. So there he is. We're going to play a game show together, Mr. Hill and I. Okay, so there's going to be 2 teams for this. You can have individual students come up or put them in groups and have a representative come up. And so basically you spin the wheel. All right, here's our first question. Mr. Hill is a wonderful principal. Your turn, you're up first. True or false? True, he got 100 points for his team. Excellent. Then it would be my turn. All right, let's see. Newline panels are great for blended learning. I think that's true. All right. Promise there's only one more. All right, Mr. Hill, your turn.
Your little pink monster.
Yeah, you're pink.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
North
Oh, that was
Corbin
really
is
tough.
the best school in the parish.
Who made the slide?
I did.
Judging by what she's doing,
Woo! Yes, absolutely. So anyway, I think you get the point with the game show app. I mean, game show activity. Thank you. I have just a different version of a game. This one is a speed game. You see who can answer it the fastest. We have 2 racers. You select your character, and you each have A, B, C, D right here, and it's whoever can answer the fastest. There we go. Okay, sky is green. That was false. I got it wrong, so she is ahead of me now. So now I click next. We're about to get another question. Newton's first law of motion says that for every action, there's an equal but opposite reaction. That one is, I got it wrong again. So she's going to be ahead of me.
I teach Spanish.
So anyway, that's just another game that you can do. A review game. Let's see. It's being slow.
Yes. It's so knowledgeable. It just takes a minute.
This one is a really fun little quiz. I'm actually, just for time's sake, I'm not going to actually pull this up. But this is one where kids have to have their own device, which most of us are to the point where our kids all have their own devices in their classroom. And if not the previous year, like I think it will be this upcoming year. So what they would do is they're going to get a code up here in a second, and they would have to type their code in on the website on their laptop, and they can join in this. Like I said, this game is, they have to go to this website and they type in the code, and they answer questions. And basically they have to hatch their monster from the little eggs. So great option for elementary kids, but to be honest, our middle school kids love it too. And then this final one is a poll question.
Ooh,
and I really, really like the poll questions. Now this one is not so much like they're not going to come up here and answer on here. They're going to answer on their devices, but you can project it up on the screen. And you can ask them anything you want. My question is in the background, which junior high is the best in the parish. You can, get their opinions on things. You can do it as like a, what do you already know before you start a lesson? Or you can just check on kids. Like, how are you feeling today? Have them answer a poll question just to start the day off. So there's lots of different opportunities for using this software. It just takes some playing with to get to know it. That Smart Learning subscription, the Smart Learning Suite at the beginning, it comes with some of these things pre-made. So it's real, to me, it's worth it to have some of these kind of pre-made activities. Oh, and I did want to show you, like I said, I have some things for elementary teachers that I think they're really, really going to like. If you go up here, let's say I want to do a new slide, and I come up here to my activities. It's the little monster. They like little monsters. In your activities, there's a place for, oh no, I'm sorry. I told you wrong. Where was that? Oh, I remember what it was. Give me just 1 second, bear with me. 4 times. 4 times is gonna come out.
That's okay. No, oh, 5. Oh, gotcha.
I'm the worst about that.
This only ever happens when you're trying to present.
Literally, yes, just like the last one. Yes, it happens.
Every time. Everything will be perfect and smooth, and then you try to go live, and then
It's like the broadcast. Like it literally worked Monday when we worked on it, and it doesn't work. Like it just wouldn't.
I believe it. It happens to us all the time.
And I did want to show you this as well for teachers that are interested in downloading the Smart Notebook software. If you go to their downloads page, I don't know if you can see this real well, but there's one that says subscription downloads. And right here it says access your Smart Learning Suite subscription. And that includes your Smart Notebook software. If you click that, that's where it's going to bring you to your free 45-day trial. Now, after the 45 days, you still have access to the Smart Notebook, the basic system. The only thing is you're going to have a big, ugly watermark that you cannot get rid of. So just keep that in mind. You can still use the free version, just not without that watermark. And it might be something that you want to talk to your administration about and talk to other teachers on your campus about, potentially having that purchased through the school. I don't know. It's up to y'all. I'm going to be patient this time. I'm not going to click it 4 times, but it's coming. Promise.
Hey, what's the web address for that? For that.
The web address for the Smart.
So I just typed into Google Smart Notebook download.
Okay, no, that's fine. I'll do that too.
We don't need this list.
Yeah, I have a random saved information on mine, and I don't know who they are. Good thing we have to change our passcode. What?
And I had this pulled up before, but we were having issues, like she said, with the network. And so we had to like restart the board a couple times. So. There we go. And then the students can join as well. And you can build activities in your class, and the students have that code and they can come in and join, and they have access to whatever activities that you have in your teacher account.
And it's the login is through our Microsoft login. So you use your lpsb.org information to sign up for the Smart Learning Suite through our Microsoft accounts.
There we go. And so this is where they have, like I said, it's like Nearpod. They have some sample ones for you to go through. And if you go to create activities, and you manipulative, that's what I was thinking for this green one. And elementary teachers, here you go. This is all of your like math manipulatives, your coins, fractions, clocks, things like that, where the kids can come up and do this on the panel. So you can make that a little bit more engaging for the student. They're not just sitting there looking at the panel like it's a TV screen. So I think that's all that we wanted to tell you about as far as the Smart Notebook.
Show them how to do the split screen on the whiteboard.
Oh, we wanted to show you one more thing on the whiteboard that I forgot about a little while ago.
I just thought about it this one.
Yeah, sorry about that. So if you're on the whiteboard, I don't know if y'all know about this or not, but I found it the other day. If you want two kids writing on like two different sides of the board,
The ability for more than one person to write is there. I can write on one side and Brianne can write on the other, but it would just be on one cohesive whiteboard. But she's going to show you a way how to actually split them to where one kid cannot write on the top of the other kid, which happens often in middle school.
so those three dots at the bottom that we were talking about earlier, the ones that you can't see because our name is in front of, if you click on those and then you click on Canvas, it gives you the option to do a split mode. I'll put it right there. And so now you have two separate canvases
So
for them
like,
to write on.
I can draw on mine, but I can't go on hers, which is beneficial.
And then you can even do three if you really want to. And then you can screenshot that or certain part of it.
Yeah, the customizing or the customizable screenshot is beneficial. So you're not screenshotting a whole screen with unnecessary information as well. So,
unless we have forgotten something else, I think that's all that we have.
That is it, yeah.
One thing that we did want to say, when you add your drive,
yes. Oh, yes.
go to the file commander. There's this really cool little button right here to add your cloud. So you can add Google Drive, like you can see Harley has.
Yeah, I added my Google
Drive.
Disclaimer, I did have to connect my panel to my hotspot on my iPhone in order to add Google Drive. I don't know, again, if it's the networking issue, the wall, they were just not allowing that connection.
It's a firewall issue because I had difficulty with it as well. But it's good to know that if you connect your network a different way, maybe just to get that connected, then it helps fix that.
I mean, because it's not like, we can't pack these panels up, bring them home to connect on our home network.
Right.
So I was like, let me try my personal hotspot. So I tried my hotspot on my phone, and it worked enough to get my Google Drive connected. Now, there is also ability to connect your, what do you call it, Microsoft, OneDrive. But I think it's the same issue.
It'll stay on this white forever.
Yeah.
It can't.
I don't know if the network's not. Now, I have not tried it with it being hardwired into an Ethernet cord. So that may be a solution to those problems. I hadn't tried, honestly.
I think the same firewall will apply because it's a safety
Okay.
issue.
Right.
As far as it not recognizing that as a safe software type thing for it to go through.
Right. Yeah, it just says unable to disambiguate account type. So not real sure on that, but there is an option for if you have Amazon Cloud Drive, Dropbox, no, you're fine, or just your OneDrive as well, that you can add that as for your file commander. And you can get those by going to your file commander on that home screen when you start up your panel.
So you can see everything that is in her drive is now on the panel itself. Yeah. And that's without having to have that onboard computer. And like I said, a lot of us do have that onboard computer, but I know for a fact there's a lot of teachers at my school that don't have it. So I tried to pull in some things for those because it is a lot cheaper to get those panels without it. So I didn't know how many didn't have it or did have it. So
good options for both. And like you said, the internal storage, since it's not a lot, it's super simple to, these were already pre-populated folders on my panel, but it is super simple to just transfer those over straight into your drive because I do have that cloud added under my file commander. So to kind of free up that internal, and honestly, it may be why my panel's so slow. But that is an option to transfer those files to your cloud because we all know we have almost, I feel like it's unlimited, but I know it's not on Google Drive. So
it's a lot.
Those are the few things.
We tried to pick the things that we thought would be the most.
Yes, the most beneficial. After watching the beginner and the intermediate, I felt like they were cohesive and it worked really well.
This stuff, I had zero clue that some of it existed or how to do it. So that was amazing.
There's also more. There's more Newline program software that Newline has, but we just don't have access to that. Just depending on the type of series panel you have. But they really do have some interesting software to play around with. So for your class.
Well, thank you so much, ladies, for your time and your serious wealth of knowledge. Super beneficial. Guys, make sure you fill out that technique survey and attendance link. They had talked about having some things that make it a little bit easier to be, like, I don't know, what's the word, wireless. I know that Miss Harley has this amazing mouse.
Yeah.
Do you have that right now with you?
The what?
Was that you? No, that was Helena. Sorry. There was another person that had this handheld mouse thingamabobber.
Oh, no.
There might be a couple of those in the giveaway.
Nice.
So anyway, all righty. We'll put that out. At 2 o'clock, we're going to be looking at some digital choice boards with Amanda Robinson. So you got about 15 minutes, take a little break, get a little drink, and then come back. Again, if you ever have any questions, feel free to hit me or them up with some emails, and we appreciate your time. Thanks, y'all.
Thank y'all.